Let's just talk about the state of entertainment, okay? And I kind of just threw this little thing together. We got different, different little, studios up there. You got Warner Brothers, Amazon, Universal, Netflix. We just got through talking about. You got major properties like Star Wars, DC, Wizarding World, Game of Thrones, so on and so forth. T. We're just talking about it in general, right? This is going to be a new segment we're just going to have every week. We just talk about the state of entertainment, where it's at right now, and what your opinions are. So go ahead and talk to me. Where do you see the state of entertainment at this moment?
I think the state of entertainment, man, is I think the thing that's important to remember about the state of entertainment, it's 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 in flux, man. It's in humongous flux because they don't know exactly what they want to do when they want to do it. I think they have good intentions, but the best laid intentions they don't always happen like you want, right? I think they've had 2 years of board meetings, Zoom meetings, Microsoft Teams meetings to come up with a plan, dude. More content that could have been created than ever. And I understand the constraints of a not having not having to comply with COVID and all those other things, but you still have had content. What is going on here? You mean to tell me you can't come together with something that makes sense for the consumer? Why not? Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you
Mm-hmm.
doing what people want? Right? They
Yeah.
want to see things that make sense. Now you got Nintendo here, you got DC, you got Star Wars, you got all these studios here, and you got Sony, you got Amazon Studios, but they don't know what direction they can't because they're all separate entities that aren't working cohesively. You've got this thing that's messed up. For the studios, they're terrified of people saying, you know what, I don't need to go with your partnership or your theaters anymore, dude. The theaters and their partnership, that's damn near over, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why do I want to go to the theater, be in there? Like, you scare people with this hoax. But it's just it's
I think let me chime in real quick because some you said was kind of interesting is about the studios, like every studio right now it seems like, except for the exception of Sony, I think every studio has some kind of a streaming service, right? Universal has Peacock. You have Paramount Plus, you have Disney Plus, you have HBO Max, which is Warner Brothers now, and I think out of the big five, and then of course Amazon, Sony's the only one that doesn't have one. And I think now you're starting to see entertainment kind of shift where everybody wants to have, like, hey, we need to be able to drop this on, before it used to be able to have to make a film and then, drop it on video, maybe 6 months later and a year later down the line. It's changed over the years. Now it's like, okay, we need to be able to drop a movie and then drop it to our streaming service so we can boost our streaming service up. Okay. But the problem, what you're seeing right now, is we have a lot of competition in the marketplace. Okay. This has probably been the most competitive that entertainment has ever been in the marketplace, where there's literally, like, there's so much to watch. There's so much to watch. It's even worse than what it was with cable. You know what I'm saying? Like
oh
cable,
yeah.
it's way worse because cable used to have 40 channels and you
That's
had to. Yeah, it's getting back to that, but worse, because now it's like you still got cable where you got a lot of entertainment options, but now you have streaming services, and it's like, okay, which one of these do I get? Because I'd like a little of everything. I like some of the Marvel stuff. I like some of the DC stuff. Okay, maybe I get HBO Max and Disney Plus. Okay, I'm set. All right. But then you start looking like, but I like that little Amazon show, The Boys. I like Invincible. Okay, I got to go and get that. And then you start looking, oh, wow, look at over here at Netflix. They got a couple of shows that I like. So you start just adding up. Next thing you know, you paying over $100 for streaming, and for, you got to have your internet connection. So you got to pay for that. And now you got a cable because every once in a while, you want to watch sports or something like that. It's just like, wow, like I'm getting overwhelmed with this, proliferation of entertainment options. And I think they're starting to see the results of that because Disney dropped in their stock this week. Netflix is just tanking right now hugely. So I think you're going to start to see, entertainment's going to have to start shifting. And there's stuff that you mentioned about the whole woke ideology and their agendas, and we're going to get to that. I'm going to get to that in a second. But I think just right now, like, it's so much out there that something's got to give. One of these guys are going to have to drop a streaming service. One of these guys is going to go down. Maybe it's Netflix. Netflix might be the first one to, take a hit.
I mean, they're all going to take a hit they're all going to take a hit at once, like you said. It's a good point. I just think that you just brought up such a good point with the cable wars, man. But the difference with the cable wars is, hey, make sure you call your local provider, man, and ask for us in your area. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You wouldn't
Yeah.
get that. You wouldn't have access to it. I think that they just cannot. I think the model they push the future. They cram the future, crammed something that was about maybe 15, 20, 25 years away and crammed it up front. You know what I mean? You push the future. You push the future forward, not forward, but you brought it back
Yeah.
to like what did they say back in the day? Hey, man, hey, in 1997, something was supposed to happen on Terminator. You're supposed to have the future here and all these
Right.
robots
Right. Right.
coming and
Right.
all of that, and they pushed it back. You kind of kicked the can down the road, and we finally met it in 2020. And what it's done is, like, Netflix wasn't supposed to boom like it was until that happened. People stay at home, so they said, man, let me
Yeah.
watch this. Oh man, let me watch. I gotta be entertained, man. Let me throw on something, man, while I'm doing my reports, man, and thinking about how
Yeah.
am I going to get my, man, what am I going to do? I've got multiple ways of streaming things, right? I think you're living in a state of entertainment where you've got a couple things happen. One in particular is you've got people who are actualizing what they intended to do. When uh, you've got people who say, "Hey, man, that was a thought. I made it happen. Boom. I don't have to wait on a big studio to do it. I can put it right here on YouTube. I can put it on Twitch. I can put it on other avenues. I don't have to wait
Yes.
for DC. Uh, s- you know, uh, I don't have to wait for DC. I don't have to wait for Warner Brothers. I don't have to wait for Marvel or Netflix to entertain me. I can entertain myself. And the thing about
Yeah.
reality shows are lightning in a bottle, but the 15 minutes of fame has been reduced into 5 minutes. 5 minutes of fame. Really, it's two and a half because people's attention span cannot go longer than that. I got I got a friends that cannot look at a clip that is longer than 3 minutes because they're like, man, my attention span, man, I can't do it.
Isn't that
Why?
crazy? It's crazy.
And you notice that? You know what I thought? You notice that if you look at the clips that are online, they're
Yeah.
usually like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
They're usually
Yeah.
like especially for
Less.
news.
Less than that. Less than that
Yeah,
sometimes. A minute and a
30
half.
seconds. Like, why did you waste the time doing that? And
Yeah.
I think that because and there are endless amounts of those things, so you could be entertained and caught into quagmires like that. I don't think that those studios have that. They don't have that. They've had a 50 to 60 year head start on things, and things have just caught up on them, man. If I don't know anybody that's going to the theater besides you and I. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know people that go
Missing,
to theaters. I know a lot of folks that go to theaters.
yeah, but they're not.
You
They're
know what?
not. No, nobody's checking for it, D.
You made a good point though, right there, with the limited attention span of today's consumer and how media has tried to, or entertainment has tried to, like, adjust to that. Like, okay, we're gonna do shorter clips and shorter shows. Like, I remember the Disney Plus shows when they was coming out with, like, the Mandalorian. It's like, we'd only gonna give you like a half hour, but everybody said, hey man, can we get like a 50-minute episode, 60-minute episode? That's what we want. And there's like, I don't think that they fully understand what fans are looking for when it comes to like that. Yeah, people want short clips, but remember there was that, what, Quibi or whatever that was, or Chibi, I can't remember. Quibi, that didn't do well. That didn't do well, and that was like, what,
It didn't
like
do
little
well. It
episodes
didn't do
of
well on a platform that nobody knew about. It didn't
people
do
knew
well
about it,
on
man.
it didn't do well in a. Remember when that thing came out? It came out. It came out during the pandemic or like
Yeah, it was
after.
like right around the time the pandemic
Right.
started. Yeah,
But like people were looking to be like they wanted consistent. Remember, people were doing 8 hour, 10 hour streams, dude, lives
yeah,
and all that. Like you wanted to be entertained. Not, oh, let me see this. Let me get, oh man, this is gonna get me hyped and then it's gonna go away. No. And then they're taking the problem with what you've got listed here is that after that, they don't have anything. What's coming after it? Back to back to back. There's no consistency.
well,
There's
but
nothing.
but it's the idea, like I said, of trying to fit what the people say they want, what you see as far as, like, okay, I want to fit what I see out there in the marketplace. Everybody's doing like, 1-2 minute clips and, they're just watching shorts or whatever. Okay, let's come up with a show or a platform that'll just do that. And then that platform absolutely tanks because nobody, like you said, either doesn't know about it or if they checked it out and liked it, that's all right. And then they just moved on. Because word of mouth, if it was good, word of mouth would have carried it. I think entertainment right now, you're still seeing a big problem with their ability to keep people's attention, period. It's not the short stuff. That's why, people do the short clips because, okay, this will keep my attention for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Okay, I'm out. But back in the day, we used to watch episodes after episode after episodes of, the A-Team, for instance. That was one of my favorite shows coming up. That thing kept my attention. Entertainment doesn't seem to be able to keep people's attention. People are like constantly channel surfing, looking for something else to watch. This isn't working. What else do we got? This isn't working. What else do we got?
I didn't have a phone that could.
And now you got a phone. Right, exactly. You got phones, you got tablets. I got entertainment right here in my pocket. Like I could just grab a phone and be like, all right, cool. I got my phone. Bop, 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 bop. Let me check out and see what's coming up. That's what I got. And it's easy and it's fast and it's at my fingertips. And entertainment doesn't seem to be to react to that. It's like, hey, we got to give some people something that'll actually keep their attention longer than 2 or 3 minutes. They always say like in Hollywood, like, you got to grab your audience for a movie in the first 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes, you got really 5 minutes in some cases to really grab your audience and hook them. They call it the hook. The inciting incident has to hook them in and get them excited. Okay, now what? And we're seeing more and more, like I just got through talking about with Moon Knight. It's like, I'm not entertained. You're not keeping my interest. I'm ready to turn this off and watch something else. I'm ready to move on. And it's not the people, because the people are always going to respond to what works. But it's just not working. You're not giving us what works. And because you're not giving us what works, you're not giving us entertainment on a high level. People are just kind of all over the place. You have a million streaming services. You have a million different types of things because everybody's got different tastes. But it's every once in a while a Marvel Cinematic Universe comes along and they say, hey, we got your end game here. Don't worry about it. We're going to take care of you. And they build up something that works and that keeps everybody's attention.
Well, really, what you're really talking about here, the root of this is time management. Do you appreciate my time management? You know what I mean? Because I'm having to invest money and time in you. And if you aren't producing what I need and you're not listening to me as a customer and the consumer, I'm not going to participate. I will let you fall to the wayside and you'll be another thing, a random memory that's going to go on YouTube. So I don't care.
Yeah.
You don't know there are tons and tons of shows that get canceled all the time. These shows are going to get canceled. They're going to cancel each other out because they don't have the consistency that people are paying for. When I'm paying for a monthly service, I expect consistency. I don't expect breaks and lags. Wait a minute, you're getting money familiar. How do you expect me to keep signing up if you're not giving me consistency?
Right.
I got choice. When I got choice, they're gonna do this. It's not like you are in the days of when Android and Apple, and you used to have a HP cell phone. You had a Palm Trio cell phone. You had all these different
BlackBerry,
choices. Right, and it all came down to what? These two now.
Yeah.
I mean, there are still some others that are still out there, but they don't compare to what? Samsung
and Apple.
And Apple.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
You got way too many choices. So it is once there's blood in the water, that means acquisitions will be made. And I think they're going to make acquisitions and say, hey, look, we need to Googleize this thing and make it be one center, one hub where you Google all this. And Roku sort of does that. Roku does that. And Apple TV does that too. But you can see that's the model where it's going. Hey, listen, guys, you pay our service for this, but then it'll just be a cable thing again. Because I'm paying $8 over here, $15 over here, $12 over here, all these different things. And I still got commercials, and I want to know why I need to get. And where is your consistency? Amazon, they have a really good show with Josh Brolin that's on. But I would rather binge watch that. Amazon has a streaming show I forgot the name of it, man. But it's pretty interesting. It's about a ranch in Wyoming,
Hmm.
right? But the episodes are being released weekly on Amazon Prime when it should just be just seamless, man. Just let me binge, dude. The binge model works, man. But once you binge, have another thing that comes out and another thing. Flood the market with good product, and the fans will come, man.
Here's the
And
problem.
then
What
you
I
can
think.
take
Here's the
it.
problem. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Here's the problem I see with the binge model and why I think it's starting to fail. Okay, so you binge watch a show, right? And then your word of mouth, you're telling your friends, "Oh man, you got to binge watch this show. You got to watch this show on Netflix or whatever. It's great." And everybody like, "All right, man, I'll get to it." And maybe I might not have the entire weekend to binge watch shows. Maybe I can watch one episode or two episodes. Okay, so I watch my two episodes, and then next thing you know, you come back to me. All right, hey D, did you see the show? And I'm like, yeah, man, I saw like two episodes. I'm not really into it. Oh, no, it's like what you was telling me about Raised by Wolves. Oh, yeah, you got to wait till you get to like episode 4 or 5, and you gonna love it. And like, okay, okay, okay.
Great series.
Yeah, okay, but see, then it's like, all right, I got to get to, so I got to find time to get to episodes 4 and 5, and what ends up happening is between the word of mouth that you want to kind of develop, it develops slowly over time because people are like, oh man, that thing's already 8 episodes in. I don't have time to watch that. Maybe I'll binge watch it one day,
Lazy.
and that's what happens.
Lazy.
But it's lazy, but you got people that have busy lives. You have a busy life. I have a busy life. We all have busy lives, and you don't have time to just jump in and watch everything. It's like I got 2 hours today. What's available? And sometimes it's like, okay, I can watch some YouTube. I can watch a couple of episodes of a TV show, and then that's it. So the binge watch deal is like you got to watch it all at once. You start to lose a little bit of that word of mouth. Whereas when you drop it weekly, it's like, okay, I got an hour. I can watch an episode of The Peacemaker. I can do that, and then I can keep up with all my other folks that's also watching The Peacemaker, and that hype starts to build. So then, by the time you get to episodes 3 and 4, when the hype is at an all-time high, people are just figuring this out. Like, oh, there's a show called The Peacemaker. Everybody's talking about it. Oh, where they at? Oh, okay. I can catch up with these guys. Okay, I can catch up and start getting into the conversation because it's only a couple of I'm only a couple of episodes in. It's not all the way done, and now I'm trying to figure out, okay, when am I gonna have a chance to watch this? I don't have a chance to watch this, and then it's gonna be probably 8 months before I even get a chance to see all 8 episodes. So yeah, you know what? And you lose that, and that's what happens with Netflix, with HBO Max, with Disney Plus. They're constantly staying in the public eye. We're talking about Moon Knight every week. You know what I'm saying? On this show, we're talking about Moon Knight every week. Because why? Because they drop an episode a week and we can talk about it. But if you dropped Moon Knight all at once, we would have talked about it. It would have been out of the conversation and we would be already on to the next thing. So that's the problem that you have with that binge model. It does work.
People are cutting in. I think you're cutting into what was the norm for the last 40 years.
Hmm.
HBO had this product, network TV had this product,
Yeah.
this water cooler talk. You're not going to have that same model again because unless people have to come and get together and say, hey man, and you're talking about social distancing still happening and all these other things that are happening. You don't have people in a position to gather each other to actually converse about these things, especially when they've got distractions. They say, "Man, gas is this, gas is that high." I would
Yeah.
look, I would look super irresponsible for all these streaming service, man, and I can't even put gas in my car. I can't
I
put
agree.
food on my plate, man. But I'm watching these things. Do I get a cheeseburger or do I get Netflix? Like they have to come to compromise with the consumers. The consumer has given you everything they have within the last 2 years, man. Spent money they
Hmm.
shouldn't have.
Yep.
What are you gonna
Yep.
do for me? The least you can do is entertain me and be consistent.
And they
That's
want to
all.
just keep doling out the same kind of like, okay, here we go, the same little nothing burgers we've been giving you all through the pandemic when we were stuck in our house and couldn't do nothing. And what they're doing even worse than that, I think, is now the program is starting to go what we call woke. So I was going to address that. The new way of entertaining people is to really hyper emphasize like all of these issues that are happening in society. You know, like we're gonna start making social commentary on societal issues, and I think that is probably, if not the biggest mistake. Like you can always layer that stuff in, but when you make that the focal point of your entertainment, you are losing the plot at that point, because you have started to think that you are now the arbiter or the, you know, the grand poobah of social commentary, and we should be the ones kind of discussing, you know, what's going on in society. There's nothing wrong with having like a little bit of sprinkled in here and there, you know, stuff that's happening in the world, but you really have to start telling good stories. And what happens is people start telling like social commentary and they forget the story. They forget to entertain you. They're trying to preach to you. And that's why people are tuning this stuff out, because you're preaching. You're sounding preachy. Hey, look, I don't need you telling me how to live my life, okay? I have a parent, I have a wife, I have a father, a son, a mother, whoever, a wife. I have people in my life that I, you know, respond to on that level. I don't need my entertainment to do that. I got people in my life. I got friends that I talk to, and we come together and we discuss what's important to us, what's not important to us, what's important to our communities. That's what we discuss. When you guys kind of step in there as these big Hollywood like super types, and you're like looking down on us and saying this is what you should be doing with your life, you know, you just come off as like pretentious and irresponsible, because then we see what your lives are like, and it's like, okay, you got like Amber Heard and Johnny Depp out there right now, and like, hey man, this like these people sound like a mess. These people sound like an absolute mess. Why would I ever listen to anything they have to say about anything? Yeah, go ahead and entertain me. Be Captain Jack Sparrow or Mira or whatever, but you are in no position. And that's most people in Hollywood. And that's most people in general. Like a lot of people have lived lives where it's like, you have no real business telling anybody how to live, what to think, what to do. That is not your job. Your job is actor. Entertainer, entertain me. That is your job. That is your only job. That's the only job I'm gonna take you seriously on anyway, because everything else I'm just gonna point and laugh and say, this dude is, heck, you gotta be kidding me, bro. I mean, I've read your stories. You gotta be kidding me. Okay, I'll talk to my dad about what you're talking about. I'll talk to my wife. I'll talk to my friends. I'm not talking to an actor about that stuff. Okay, that's just the bottom line. And I think all of the woke stuff that they're doing when they're going hard with this social commentary and stuff like that, cut that out. You're losing fans because of it. We see Netflix, you know, they did this little thing about cuties or whatever. Oh, we're trying to make a commentary on blah 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 blah. Hey, you just lost a whole lot of people because of that. Okay, you lost a whole lot of people because of that. They're firing actors because actors have certain political opinions, and I think actors should be quiet. But nevertheless, if they're gonna say something, let them say it, because you let other actors talk and you don't let these actors talk. These actors can talk, these actors can't talk because they don't fit the right agendas and all that kind of stuff. All of that stuff is for the birds, and if you guys keep doing it, they're just gonna fall apart. T, any comments on that?
No, I think you was well said what you said. It look, fine line, fine line. It's a fine line in what you want. I think they need to start really listening to the consumer
Yeah,
and delivering on that.
yep, I agree.